My name is Milton Sangabriel. I'm the co-owner of Atlanta Pool Sharks, and this is my pool story. I'm from a small town called Los Reyes La Paz in Mexico City, and I moved straight to Georgia, and I pretty much grew up here ever since. It was definitely a difficult time for me at that age, due to the fact that there was a lot of big changes, specifically with culture, language. I come from a very close family. I used to live in a house where it was a full house. About maybe five families lived at that house, and I grew up with a lot of cousins, a lot of family members. Coming to the United States with just my family members, which is my mom, my dad, and my two sisters, was definitely a big change for us. So also, the language barrier, the culture was definitely something that was very difficult. I was 10 years old at the time, so I was already kind of aware of everything that was going on. I kind of understood all the changes that were happening. So I played competitive soccer ever since I was young, and I was able to cope with everything that was going on around me at that age through soccer. I was able to make a lot of friends, travel to a lot of new places that I probably wouldn't have the chance to travel to if it wasn't for soccer. So I think the first time that I got into a team, my dad built a team for me to be able to play. I was around 8 years old. I remember there was a lot of times on the weekends, there were a lot of weekends spent with me, just because I had to, my parents had to take me through soccer practice or soccer games. So that was something that my sisters had to sacrifice a lot of their time. It's something that I'm always also very thankful to my sisters, because, I understand that, they kind of sacrifice a lot of time, or my parents sacrificed a lot of time now given to them to be given to me. So, we knew that the end goal at the end of the day was for me to be able to go to school. Now that I have these opportunities to, have my own company, I always try to give back to them whenever they need anything. If I can, I'm always there to help, and always will be. I was very fortunate to be able to complete my entire college career through athletic scholarships, and I went to Tyler Junior College, a small junior college in Texas. I got a degree in kinesiology, and then I transferred to a four-year school here in the state of Georgia, which was Reinhardt University, and I majored with a business management degree. One of the main reasons why we decided to move to the U.S. or to America was for the opportunities that are provided here. And my dad was here before we moved here by himself. He came here first, and ended up going back to Mexico, and then 3 years later we all moved in. We moved here as a family, but yeah, it was. They were definitely very happy when they found out that I was going to be able to go to school. It was definitely a win for the entire family. They don't really teach you, or based on my experience, I didn't really learn the very specifics, or how to start a business, every single step to start a business, and also how to run a business. For me, it was more the skills that I learned was more through playing soccer in college, learning the skills of learning how to work well with others, being persistent, having good work ethic. So those are the kind of things that I feel now I transfer into my business, and those are some of the things that I feel have helped me the most with running my own company now. When graduated college, right after college, I was obviously, like everybody else, searching for a job. I was able to get a job as an inside sales for a construction equipment company, and it was kind of like the closest thing I got to having a corporate job. But within a year, I quickly found out that it was something that I wasn't really, I guess, it wasn't fulfilling for me. I've always been, my parents have always had that entrepreneur mindset. I remember growing up, my dad owned, he had his own body shop. There was a point where he owned a small food truck. He also owned a furniture store. So that kind of seed of being the entrepreneurial mindset was always stuck to me since I was very young. And after I got that job with the inside sales job, I ended up leaving after a year. I got a job as a sales representative for a roofing company that was owned by one of my good friends, and I did that for about a year. And then I ran into the opportunity of working for a pool company here in Georgia, and that's how I got introduced into the pool world. I think coming from a background of being very limited to or opportunities, and coming here and having those opportunities out there, as long as you want to willing to work for it. I think that's kind of like the major thing that really got me started. And I didn't really wanted to continue to work a 9 to 5 just because I saw that I truly felt like I had my potential was to do more than that. And like I said, I want to, one of the main reasons why we got into this was for the long term. We really do believe that this is an opportunity for us to be able to not only be successful for us, but for our families. I don't have any kids at the moment, but if I'm planning on it, and once I do, I want to be able to leave some type of legacy for them, and also be able to provide, as I mentioned, for my family. So I saw this as a way of doing that, and from being a pool technician, taught me the skills, everything that I needed to learn. But as far as starting my company, that's really kind of what gave me the push to start my own thing, being able to provide for my family and leave something else, something greater for the ones to come after me. I've always wanted to have something on my own. Like I said, that example was set at a very young age from my parents. And, seeing, growing up in Mexico, even though I was young, I was very aware of everything that was going on at the time. So the opportunities that when I got here, the opportunities that I saw, were very real. And one of my dreams had always been to own my own thing, and the reason being, I've always dreamt of being able to provide not only for my family, like my personal family, but also like my parents, my sisters. My parents don't have any type of retirement program, any social security, things like that, so it's important for me to be able to take care of them as they get older. And one of the main reasons that I started this company was because I saw this as a long term, and it really gave me that vision that it is very real, and it's something that I can really achieve if I continue to work hard. And more than anything, it's gonna give me that opportunity, and I'm seeing it at this early stage of our company. So it's leaving a 9 to 5 job, I guess, in some way saying it's security was scary for me at the beginning, but as far as family wise, they've always been very supportive. My business partner is Suseth Garcia. He's also known as Sus, and we met a couple years, I want to say about maybe 5-6 years ago. We met through mutual friends, and right from the beginning, since we met, we clicked. We've always had a very good relationship. We share very similar mindsets as far as our business, our personal lives. Even religion. We share similar backgrounds. So from the very beginning, we got along, and it's been a great experience with him so far. We create a really good team, and I'm excited to continue to work and continue to grow this business with him. So it's a funny story because the way that we came up with the name was after I introduced the idea to Sus of creating the company. The first thing that we thought of was like, well, we got to come up with a name. And I remember the day that we came up with it. We were at my house, and we're just planning out. We're writing some ideas down. And I was, it's gonna sound kind of funny, but I was wearing swim shorts, and the swim shorts are a shark, and then we just kind of, we threw the idea of, pool sharks. It sounds good. And then I also thought about the idea of a show, so it was like a show that has the same name, and a lot of people know it, but yeah, that's pretty much how we came up with the idea. We ran it through our family members. We told some friends, and they thought it was unique. They kind of liked it, so we decided to go with that name. I just happened to have an account with Canva at the time, and I've used it in the past for other projects that I had to do, and I just we were just playing around, looking to see if we can find something that we liked, and then eventually send it out to get done professionally, or or made out more professional. But we came up with the concept, which is this pool sharks, and then we designed a little shark with the letters, and we really loved it. And we both kind of had an input into it, and that's pretty much how we designed the little figure, and then we sent it out to get professionally done. And that's pretty much how we came up with the logo and the idea. I've had a business partnership before in another business, and I'm a true believer that a partnership in a business is almost like a relationship, like a girlfriend or wife relationship. You really have to complement each other, and there's times where one is gonna mess up, and just knowing that that's okay, that we're there to support each other. And it's been a great process, honestly. It's been super easy. Me and him get along very well. He's a really hard worker. He kind of complements some of the things that I don't have, such as I'm kind of a procrastinator at times, and he just tends to do things like right on the spot, which is something that it's, for me, it's great because it helps me out a lot in that aspect. But yeah, I feel very lucky to be able to have him with me, and doing this process. Like I said, I know his family very well. He just had a kid this year, so I got to meet his kid. I got to go through the whole process of him being his first child. So we have a lot of really good memories through that, and it's been awesome. As far as the workflow goes, we've been working with each other for 3 years now, and we just, as I mentioned, we complement each other very well. When we get to a service, we don't really have a system set up to, oh, hey, you're gonna do this or you're gonna do that. We kind of know each other like very well, to the point where, hey, if you're picking up the vacuum, I'm gonna go ahead and start cleaning the skimmers, or start skimming the pool. So we kind of complement each other on that, and on the field is very easy because we both know what we're doing. We kind of went through the same training, so it's just very easy to work with him. We try to, there's definitely a lot of times where everything is not perfect. Not every single day it's a great day, but as I mentioned, me and Sus try to, whenever if he's having a bad day or I'm having a bad day, it's always really, really nice to have somebody there to uplift you. And we try to stay positive. We joke around throughout a day. We are big believers that if you're happy doing what you love, then things are gonna be become a lot easier. So obviously they're not always, everything's not always happy moments, but just having him next to me and just kind of like uplifting me whenever where I'm having a bad day or something's not going as planned, is definitely helpful. So we just try to have a good energy. We're good people. We come from good families, so we try to stay optimistic with everything that we do. And like I said, if one of us is having a bad day, we're always try to be there for each other. And really we try to have every single day we try to we joke around, and it's just a good time. It doesn't really feel like work most of the time, especially because we both love being outdoors. So yeah, just being there for each other, I would say, would be the biggest thing on how we try to stay optimistic and during tough times. It was definitely a lot of hard work at the very beginning. I remember me and Sus would set up in the afternoons. We would go ahead and set a specific time where we knew most of the time where homeowners would be home. So usually around 4 to 7, 4 to 8, we would go out and door knock houses, offer a service. We did a lot of research online. So what we would do is we would go ahead and we'll go to Google Maps through the satellite version, and we would go ahead and look at homes that had pools around the areas where we wanted to work. We would make a list of all the pools that we found, and we would go ahead and send out flyers. And that's how we got started. And as soon as we started getting a few clients, we quickly set up a website and our Google profile. And luckily, we started getting reviews and people started finding out about us. So that's how we got started with our first clients. I think from the very beginning, we kind of took the leap to, we decided to go full into this company. And at the very beginning, we were we were paying ourselves. It was our only source of income, so we were paying ourselves as you know, as money came in, and we didn't really put much attention into our bookkeeping, just because, you know, we were just trying to stay afloat at the time. And I think that's one of the biggest challenges that we've had. And now that we're a little bit more old, as we get along more older, having that bookkeeping organized was definitely, I think, was one of the biggest challenges that we've had so far. I feel like the biggest lesson that I had to learn the hard way for me specifically was just being able to have our bookkeeping organized from the very beginning, because we had to do, like as I mentioned before, the first year that we were in business, we were kind of we were trying to stay afloat. You know, it was our only source of income, so we were trying to stay afloat, and we were paying ourselves, but we weren't really keeping track of what was coming in, what the expenses were, and when it came down to tax season, we had to we hired an accountant, and we had to go back through that whole year and get everything organized, and that was kind of stressful for me, because we were busy with work, doing the services, but also we had to do all the finances on the back end. So for me, that was the most difficult part of that situation. Probably what I've learned is, as a company owner now, is time management. I guess a lot of people think that when you start your own business, you know, it's all freedom and, you know, great things, and you're making money, but unfortunately, it's not like that all the times. You know, there's times where you're having to put overtime hours, but you don't really get paid for overtime because it's your own thing. So I think that's kind of like the biggest thing that I've learned, is just learn how to manage my time properly, and, you know, have that balance between work and personal life. I think that has been one of the biggest things that I've learned, how to manage my time. And as far as business wise, would be having systems set in place. A lot of the times, if we feel like if you don't have a system set in place and you just kind of go out there and start something, it can become very chaotic. It can also set you back, because it's the workflow is not as fluent. So having those systems set in place, it's definitely important, and it's key to success. During during the fall season here, the pools. We're a very green state. You know, we have a lot of trees around everywhere, really. And during leaf season, that's probably our toughest time of the year, because some pools get absolutely crazy with the amount of leaves that get inside the pool. So I think, in comparison, for example, like if you were to go to Florida, you know, Florida doesn't have as many trees, so it might be a little easier over there. I don't have the personal experience, but yeah, definitely Georgia would be during the fall season. It's definitely your most difficult time. And then also, I would probably say just I guess this snake season right now. You get a lot of snakes out there. I've run in the past where I've run into copperheads. So it's kind of that's something different for us. But yeah, that's probably would be the one thing. The fall season here, it's tough for us in the pool industry, and then just during the summer, where just kind of try to be careful as far as like running into issues like that with like snakes and stuff like that. But I have found one before. I don't like to kill them. I found one inside the pool, and I just skimmed it out. I took it out to the woods, dumped it in the woods. But I did let the homeowner know, make sure they were aware. Hey, I found a snake, and I didn't really know much about snakes until I got into the industry, and I started seeing that they do come out. That we do have venomous snakes here in the state of Georgia. So I kind of had to get a little bit familiar just for my safety, and that's how I was able to recognize that one snake that I ran into that one time. But yeah, that's usually what I would do. I would just take it out, dump it up in the woods. And then let the homeowner know, hey, I found a snake here. Just kind of be aware, especially if there's children in the house. We really quickly found out that, in our opinion, the bar was set very low as far as like customer service. So that's something that we put a lot of pride into, and we try to present ourselves very well. I'm very confident saying that for the most part, I think whenever we're speaking to a new client or we're trying to get new accounts, we're closing about 90% of the people that we talk to. And I think the reason why is just the way that we present ourselves, the way that people see us, and we try to keep our reputation by keeping our word. We know that everybody works hard for their money, and at the end of the day, this is a service that's putting food on our tables. So we try to do our best to do a good job, be there on time, have really good communication with our clients, have all the systems set in place to be able that allows us to do that. So I think that would probably it would be the best thing, or the way that we try to keep a reputation is just by having those systems set in place where our company is going to run fluently, and also just doing the best possible work for our clients, and more than anything, owning up to our word and say and do whatever we say we're going to do. Every now and then you're going to run into a situation where somebody's not happy with the work, or something along the process of you working with them didn't go as planned. So yeah, we've had an experience where we tried to focus a lot on our Google reviews, and that has really gone a long way for us. And there was an occasion where we were working with a customer that it was for a commercial pool, a neighborhood pool, and when we got the call to go look at the pool, we got the information from the person that was dealing with that the pool had been taken care of the year prior, that it was winterized properly. They had a cover, so really the only thing that we had to do was go out there, take the cover off, add some chemicals, and the pool was going to be in good shape. Well, when we ended up going to taking a look at the inspection, looking at the pool, it was a whole different situation. The pool hadn't been properly winterized. Once we took the cover off, there was a huge layer of algae around the walls, and we mentioned to the person that we were dealing with that it was a very severe case where the pool was in really bad shape. She wasn't aware that the pool was in that shape because according to the information that was given to her, everything was done properly the year before, but that wasn't the case. And we took on the job, and we also let them know that there could have been potentially some stains on the walls due to the amount of algae that there was. And they made it seem like that was understood, but at the end of the day, once we got threw in the chemicals, got the pool clear back again, as we mentioned, there were stains around the wall. They weren't very happy with it, so it just they ended up leaving a bad review on our page based on their experience. So I think one of the biggest things that we learned from that was taking our time to assess the situation. And it's okay to say no sometimes if it doesn't make sense, or if you're not in the same page with the homeowner that you're dealing with. So yeah, I think that was one of the main things that we've run into where it's been a difficult difficult time dealing with a homeowner. We tried to. It was definitely a big hit, especially because obviously, like with Google reviews, it's out there for everybody to see. So for us to be able to get that review after coming in with the best intentions was definitely difficult. But we took the situation, we learned from it. You can always do better. You can always learn from everything. And the way that we dealt with it was we uplifted each other. We knew that we did everything in our power to try to do the right thing, and at the end of the day, it's just we understood that you're not always going to be able to please everybody, but you learn from the situation, and you make changes to certain situations that you're dealing with, like this one, and then you move on. I consider myself having very high standards. Like I said, everybody, even me, I use services like, such as, having a yard guy or having someone to come out there, a plumber or anything like that. We all need services at one point in our lives. And I think Me being on the side of the service side of it, I think it's important for us to be able to, have high standards to be able to provide that quality of work. And yeah, I kind of try to put myself in the situation of the homeowner where, obviously I've paid for services before, and I expect to get good work if I'm paying good money for it. If I'm paying for anything, it's something that I expect to have someone to do a good job. And that's kind of the same standard I hold myself accountable to. If I know if a homeowners are paying for a service, I try to do my best in any way possible and help him in any way possible that I can. One celebrity, unfortunately, he's no longer with us, but I would definitely say Kobe Bryant. I'm a big fan. Love his mentality. Love everything he was about. He was a family man. He was one of the greatest at his sport, and I just love the way he carried himself, his mentality. So definitely Kobe would be the celebrity that I would have liked to work with. Based on my experience and kind of what I've seen, is just I think what sets us apart is just our personalities, who we are as people. We come from a family background, and we're very hard workers. We're here to, just look for a good opportunity for us, and more than anything, just we're in this for the long term. We're looking to build this company for the long term, and yeah, I think what sets us apart is that we're looking to build those long term relationships, rather than just coming in and getting a customer for 2 or 3 months or even a year. That's not really what we're here to do. We're more looking for a long term relationships with all of our homeowners. So I think our energy also is what sets us apart, and I think more than anything, organization. I think we're very organized as a company. Communication was a big deal. We understood that communication was huge coming into the industry. I don't think there's a lot of companies we worked with for other companies in the past that we didn't see them having that. So I think based on what we've seen and based on our experience, I think communication and just being organized and having those systems set in place that allows us to be organized is what makes us different than everybody else. For the most part, I try to keep my work hours at a specific amount. So usually I try to work, for in the pool industry, it's a little bit different because there's seasons. Some seasons you're working longer hours, some others you're working less hours. But during our busy season, it's where my time management comes into play. I try to stop working around 6 or 7. We try to start early around 8, 9 a.m. and try to be done by 6, 7. And then after that, I kind of put a break to my work life, and then try to take care also as well as my personal life. And then after work, I try to go to the gym. I still play. I'm not as competitive anymore, but try to stay in shape as much as I can. So yeah, I try to take care of my body as well. I know this is my health is really the most important thing to me, because without health, I'm not able to work. Yeah, I try to take care of myself, try to take care of my body, and then try to separate that lifestyle of work and personal life. So I usually try to work a certain amount of hours, and then once try to get whatever I try to get done everything that I need to, and then if I can, I'll go ahead and move it for the next day. I would give my younger self the advice of being more patient. I think with everything that's going on nowadays, especially with technology, a lot of the times, we tend to compare ourselves based on what we see via social media, which is most of the part what we're looking at. So I think with everything that's going on around the world, around now in our world, as far as the internet, I think for my younger self, the advice that I would give me is just be patient, continue to have that work ethic, stay hungry, but more than anything, be patient, because everybody has their own timing, and I think that's the advice that I would give my younger self. Be more patient and not to compare myself to the process of others. instead rather focus on what I'm doing now and trust the process of what I'm doing. We it's tough. It's definitely hard being having to balance like all the stuff that goes behind the scenes. But at the end of the day, we have that understanding that it's kind of what it takes when you are a business owner. And at the end of the day, what really keeps us going is that we're looking to be to do this leave this legacy for the people that come after us, and that's really our main our biggest motivation. That we know that once we're able to build this strong foundation for a company, everything else is going to run a lot smoother. So you just kind of right now is just, I guess, just toughing it out and having that having that grit to do the work, but knowing that eventually it's gonna pay off once we get through that stage, and we're getting ready to start hiring people. So we're getting ready to also be able to move around some responsibilities that will give us the free time to focus on other things and not be as stressful. So yeah, that's kind of how we're dealing with the situation right now. We're just grinding it out, but eventually, in sometime very soon, we're getting ready to spread those responsibilities onto other people that we bring on into the company. Yeah, so we're looking to. Obviously, that's when you wrap your truck, that's free advertisement. Obviously, you get people kind of see you, and we think we have a pretty I guess different logo. It's kind of unique. So we're looking to wrap the trucks, and we have a little idea hidden there. Hopefully, people once we get it, I don't want to put it out there yet, but because it hasn't happened, but I think people are gonna recognize us once we get it out there. But it's definitely. It's got to do with a shark. When we first came into the industry, and based on our experience from working in other companies and just being around the time that we've been around, we've noticed that there is a lot of the industry is for the most part is there's a lot of older people that are in the industry, and we haven't really seen a lot of younger people like ourselves being or getting into the industry. So that's something that hopefully it changes soon. I think there's definitely a lot of room for new companies to grow here in the state of Georgia. So anyone out there, if you're really looking to get into the industry, I think it's a great industry, and you'll find out that there's a lot of opportunity for growth. And but I also do think the industry being for the most part older people, I think that there's I do share the idea that there's this feeling of we try to take care of each other for the most part, and I've never really run into the problem where somebody is try to put me down in the industry, or try to make me feel bad in any way. I think it would be probably the opposite. I've always people have always been very welcoming, very willing to teach me. Right now we work with an electrician that does some of our electrical work, and when he's an older gentleman, and I think he's about in his probably 60s. And one of the things he mentioned to us, he was like, "Hey, if you guys ever run into an issue where you don't know the answer to, you could always call me. I have no problem like teaching you guys or showing you guys the way." So that's something that's kind of we've encountered that a lot, and we feel very very happy, and we hope to be able to do the same to anybody else, or any younger generation that's willing to get into the industry or that's interested in the industry. So yeah, that's great. It's been a good experience overall, and I'm very happy that those older gentlemen that are that've been in the industry for so long are willing to share and pass on their experience and their information that they've learned over the years. When we first, me and Sus first started, when we first introduced the idea of getting this together, our main goal and our main dream was always to be able to leave something for our families. And so I think that's our biggest, for me, that's my biggest dream, to be able to make out of this a long-term thing. Leave a legacy for the ones to come after me. And my dream is just to be able to provide for my family, have be able to create this business to have a good lifestyle, but more than anything, just be able to provide for my family, know that they're gonna be taken care of. And yeah, that's my biggest dream and my biggest goal from this company. My name is Milton Sangabriel. I'm the co-owner of Atlanta Pool Sharks, and this is my pool story.